Alrighty. We're here this morning for the SECC 2020 Coordinator Training. I hope you all are doing well. Like I said, I know this is Monday, so sorry we're doing training on a Monday, but this should be pretty quick and painless. Just kind of get our week started. The campaign, the starting date will be tomorrow, which means at that point you will be able to log on. If you are online office, state office, you'll be able to log on starting tomorrow and do donations that way. Or if you have more people who like to do the paper forms, you can also begin asking and providing those forms on tomorrow. So yeah, it's here and we're ready. So what is the SECC? The SECC is the State Employee Charitable Campaign. It was established in 1993 by state statute. It's the only time that state employees can be offered payroll deduction to give to different charities. It's the only time during the year. That campaign period lasts from September 1st to October 31st. However, you will notice that there are some higher education some higher education groups who are actually able to campaign past October 31st. For Texas Tech, they actually run until the day before Thanksgiving. Now that extended time, they don't necessarily campaign during that extended time. However, they do allow their website to stay open so they can still receive those pledges. So those dates are a little bit different for higher education. If you are in an area that has a junior college, junior colleges actually have the chance and the choice to either opt out or in as far as participating with the SECC. For the Lubbock area, we have South Plains, and South Plains has opted out. So even if you are you work at a state junior college, you may not be offered a chance to give just because as a junior college employee, you have an option. The junior college does. So I am governed actually by the local employee committee. It is a group of state employees that come together. They check all of the charities. They go through the application process with the charities. They look at the charities, look at what they do. They review all the applications, and from that point, they approve or deny. Now that the approval or denial is not decided based off if they feel that the charity is a good fit. However, it is approval or denial based off were they able to fulfill all of the requirements. A couple of those requirements are you have to be established over a period of time. You have to show that you have ran, as a nonprofit agency, you have participated in a campaign season, more than one. Next, your administration costs have to be under 25%. That means that out of every dollar, no more than 25 cents can go to administration and fundraising cost. And they do that just so our state employees know they're giving to good charities who are really using those funds to do the work and work towards the cause that they're wanting to support. And so the local committee goes through that process with them. They are also the body that goes over questions, look at the year, see how things are going, kind of evaluate, and then help plan the campaign overall. So our employee committee consists of Meredith Imes, she's with Texas Tech University, Megan McCrory, she is with Texas Tech University Health Science Center, Christy Felton, who is with the University System, Tammy Moriarty, who is with the Department of State Health Services, Brandy Schreiber, she's with Texas Tech, Renee Zarardi, who is with TxDOT, and Danae Nino, who is with DFPS. That is your local employee committee. And they're all from within the South Plains area. South Plains area is made up of 21 counties. For those of you who have been a part of the SECC and been a coordinator before, you probably know that South Plains went from Greater West Texas, which was 61 counties, to South Plains area, which is 21 counties. So although we are smaller, I am proud to say that we are still doing an amazing job with what we're able to raise and the help we're able to give our community. with Greater West Texas, and I mentioned Greater West Texas, like I said, because for several years that's what we were called, and so there's a time split there. But within this area, and including in 2019, the Greater West Texas area and South Plains area was able to raise $6,820,316.28 in 2019. That is an amazing job. So overall, the state employees of Texas were able to raise over $6.8 million. So thank you all for all that you do with that. For the South Plains area alone, our 5-year total is over $5.8 million. So awesome job. We are continuing to do the work and support our community. So what is the job of a campaign coordinator? Or who is a campaign coordinator? It's an employee leader, someone who others look up to, someone who gets things done. You will be the person who will be distributing campaign materials to your agency and fellow employees. The next thing you would be responsible for doing is educate your team and your coworkers about SECC. A lot of times people approach the SECC as the time of year when we go and ask people to give, or we ask people to take more money out of their check. Yes, that is what we do. But the reason why we do that is to help our community. It's not just getting someone to randomly participate. It is to help support our community. Now, with that, I think it's very important for us to understand and realize the environment that we are in today. Just within our own homes, we may feel like we're stable, things are going good. But we have to remember that through all of this, so many things have changed. Just because we're on the side where we're still employed doesn't mean the spouses are still employed. There may be transitions from children rather than them being in school. They decided to stay home for another 9 weeks. So with that, it's just all the different changes. And so with that, for those times when you ask someone to give and they come back with your ask with well, right now I have a need. I need this, or my family, we can't support this issue because we're in need of this. What I encourage you to do this year more than ever is be a resource. All of the different nonprofits that are available in this area, use them as a resource for those around us who still need support and need help. Don't just use it as say, hey, support this cause. Use it as hey, I heard what you were saying. Here are some charities that may be available that you would see that would be able to help you with that. So just educate yourself about what's available, and then also help educate others so they'll know what resources are available for them and the circle they're in, because you never know what people's needs are. The next thing is make sure you have a supportive leadership. It's always easier to ask and do fundraisers if leadership is supporting you in your efforts as the coordinator for your site. The next thing you want to do, you want to make your pledge first. It's always easier to ask someone to support and do something that you're already doing. So I encourage you to make your pledge first. It's a good talking point. It goes from, hey, are you willing to support the SECC? And that changes to, hey, you know what? I have made my pledge. Are you willing to come along with me and help me support our community by doing this? It just, people are more willing to do something they see you doing. Like I said earlier, educate yourself as much as possible, and know your resources. You want to know your resources just so you can know what charities are available to come speak, whether that be virtually or in person. You want to know your resources also for those who may be in need. And you have access to different resources and different charities that you can connect them with. And you're doing two things. You have just now put yourself in position to be a resource to help meet others' needs. The next thing is encourage payroll deduction. We say that because payroll deduction makes it so easy. With payroll deduction, it's quick, it's simple, and as on the coordinator side of it, it makes your job a lot easier. You're not required, anytime they do payroll deduction, you're not keeping up with paper, you're not keeping up with any of that. You're just turning in the form to payroll and going through that process. So it kind of helps you go through this a little bit quicker. So always, always, always encourage payroll deduction. Next, what are some new and innovative ideas? I think one of the big things that we're facing this year is we're fixing to do a virtual campaign. So what does that virtual campaign have to look like? What do we do? How do we maneuver through this? One of the first things you can do is utilize the I gave sticker. Here within the office, we have designed one of the I gave sticker. They are in the process of being made, and as soon as they are completed, if you would like some of those, please let me know. We can definitely provide them to you. But what the I gave sticker is, it is the same as the voting sticker. So once you go to the poll and vote, you come out and you have the I voted sticker. It's the same concept with the I gave. So, but along with that, my encouragement is provide them with the sticker after they give. At that point, have them take a selfie with their sticker. It may be a selfie by themselves. If you have a group of, if you're doing it by departments, it may be a department as a whole that's doing it. It may even be company-wide. However you decide to do that, take a picture and get a consensus of why you gave. And then make that a little hashtag. I think it's always neat, and people are always willing to do what they see others doing. So because of that, just the simple sticker saying, hey, I gave, and here's my why. I think that will go a long way this year. I mean, after you get those pictures, post them up. It would be, and you may not have a Facebook page, you may not have social media, but a lot of times we do have internal communication systems. So within that system, send out a weekly, hey, this is the group that gave, and here's their why. You can start using those pictures and those whys as promotional things to keep the campaign going. Next, communicate weekly with your department coordinators. I understand that each one of you are the head coordinator for your state agency, but I encourage you, and especially now, because we're virtual and everyone's working in different schedules. If you know a group that has a different schedule, but you can find a lead person within that group and say, hey, can you head up this department? Can you head up this department? But find some mini coordinators under you that help you communicate the need and get the message out so it doesn't all fall on you. The next thing, consider the best practices, which is what we went over earlier. Having support of the leadership, knowing your resources, getting the information out. You can do that by doing a video conference check-in mid-campaign. One of the hardest things to do is we say you have a 2-month period in there that you're campaigning, but the question is, do we want to wait till the end to say, okay, I don't think things were going well? But you can do a mid-campaign catch-up. Just check in with your coordinators. Hey, how are things going? How's everyone feeling? What are you noticing? That way, if we need to make some changes, if we need to go a different direction in the fundraising process, we still have time and we can do that. I am here as a resource. I can help you through this process the whole time. Just let me know what you need from me, and I'm definitely willing to help. The next thing you want to do is you want to shift your funding from event support to other forms of incentives. A lot of times we'll do fundraisers. With those fundraisers, it's just the easy way for people to support and participate. This year, I encourage you to shift that. Rather than just doing fundraisers that require larger groups of people to come together, figure out some ways to do this virtually. Encourage people, give people an incentive rather than for participating in a fundraiser. Give them an incentive for doing a one-time gift or payroll deduction. So kind of shift your incentives and what you're incentivizing. The next thing is utilize your virtual campaign to reach millennials. This year, I know it's hard for me personally. Me and technology, we kind of have a love-hate relationship. And so sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. But with this, one of the new things that we're saying is use this time for a virtual campaign to reach your millennials, reach the younger group that we're working with. They do everything online. So with that, let's try to reach them online. You can do some fun things, play fun activities. You can do in a video conference. You can do Kahoot trivia, bingo, guess the baby photo contest. Guess the baby photo contest is pretty fun. Next, promote the campaign and recognition across social media platforms using a hashtag. And that's what I was talking about. Everyone doesn't have necessarily Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, but you will have an internal communication. So promote the campaign internally with using the hashtag I am Texas Strong or We are Texas Strong. And then finally, at the end of this campaign, host a thank you or a wrap-up party with a fun activity. I know the times are different, so let's just make sure that we kind of wrap things up in a fun way and say thank you to everyone who's participating. So what are some event ideas? We're shifting this. In the past, you may have done a bake sale. Instead of doing a bake sale, let's do a recipe sharing. You can create an employee cookbook. Instead of doing a 5K run or walk, you can do a virtual 5K run or walk by calculating steps. It's a great time to kind of mix wellness with fundraising. So you can do it that way, but just do it with a step tracker. A lot of people have smartphones, and so it's not like they have to go buy something additional. They can use their smart device to track those steps also. So it's something different. You can do a talent show. If a talent show is something that you all have done in the past, make it a virtual competition, virtual dance competition. That's an option. Several people have done chili cook-offs. Instead of doing a chili cook-off, do a Top Chef cooking class. So that could be you have someone at the potluck every year or every time you do a potluck and they have their favorite dish they bring. Get a couple of those people and do a cooking class with them and do it virtually. So there are some options there. One of the biggest things you want to do is you want to offer support and enthusiasm to all of your coordinators and all who are helping you with this. You want to stay in contact with your coordinators by doing some video conferencing. I think we're all getting used to this now. And then you always want to track your events so you can keep up with how successful they were. The next thing you can do is anything that you do virtually. Anytime you're having a meeting, if you're doing a conference call, whatever it is, and you would like a charity speaker, please let me know. We can still do that. We can always invite charity speakers to share impactful stories. A lot of times people like to hear from the people they're giving their money to, not necessarily from us saying, hey, would you like to give? So charity speakers go a long way, and I encourage you to use those. Some virtual incentives. Many vendors, they're not necessarily financially in position to give out a lot of incentives anymore right now. So in the past, they may have done gift certificates or gift cards. You will still be able to get some of those things, but several companies may be struggling financially, so they're not so quick to give those things out. So what are some things we can do different? We may not be able to get a day off, but we may be able to sleep in late. So what does that look like? It could just be a coupon for one day if you donate, or you have so many people in your department donate, your department can sleep in late. Just different things. That's why I say talk to leadership. Get what the can and the cannot, so you can kind of create some incentives around that, get some things approved. But who wouldn't want to come to work late? That's amazing. You can do email gift cards, lunch delivery, coupons, and that's the sleep in late coupon. You can do time off, virtual lunch with the boss. I don't necessarily know how many people want to eat with the boss, but hey, it's a good idea. You can do virtual lunch with the boss. There's customizable spinning wheel games you can do. You can do social media shout outs, and then you can also still go to different companies and ask them if they would like to give prizes or be a sponsor for any incentives you would like to give out through the campaign. The next thing is transitioning to a virtual campaign. In person, we would have campaign planning meetings. We would set dates and goals and themes, and we would do all these things in person. So what does that look like whenever we're doing it virtually? It looks the same. We're going to do some campaign planning video conferences. I invite each one of you to, if you have questions, if you want to talk to me about internally what the setup is at this time within your state office, talk to me. We can come up with a plan. We can still do that even if we're not doing it in person. You can still set dates. You can have goals. You can have things. We can do all of these things virtually. None of that has to change. Instead of doing a kickoff in person, you can do a kickoff virtually. It can be a quick video message from the department head or from anyone, however you want to do it. It can be a group of people saying video real quick, saying why they give. However you want to do that, we can definitely make that happen. The next thing is, instead of distributing pledge forms and brochures, we have them on PDFs. We can email those out to everyone. You don't have to not, just because you're not in person doesn't mean you can't still do these things. So order forms. We have a PDF order form this year. It's a PDF fillable order form, pledge form. If they would like to give with their pledge form, we can email that out. We have several different options. We have a couple of posters that I can email out to you, and I can print. We can do both of those things. So you have posters in PDF form and in a hard form that I can print for you. Of course, you can host video conferences. I think even with the changes, everyone is still probably doing some sort of staff meeting. I encourage you, do not create another meeting, but ask if you can talk about the SECC for 5 minutes in one of your in the staff meeting that's already scheduled. During that 5 minutes, if you would like a guest speaker to come in during that time, we can have a guest speaker. If your state office is not allowing outside visitors to come in, we can do that virtually. I've set it up to where our charities, that if they do not necessarily have the technology to get on a video or a conference call, they can come to the United Way office and use the technology here. So we don't see that changing, and we definitely believe you can still do all of that. Once again, promote the campaign electronically with the I gave stickers. You can do stickers, emails, virtual events, all of the different things. We can still make it happen and do it virtually. Next, say thank you. You all have been in this environment and you have been working tirelessly through all of this. I've been even asked across, even within the office, how are the state workers doing? I say easily tired, very tired. You all, this is your environment that you're working in, and you are essential. So I want to tell you thank you. But as you're asking and you're going through this campaign, please remember to say thank you. You're thanking them for the work they're continuing to do within our community, our roads, keeping our children safe, our elderly safe, our city strong. We're just saying thank you for all that they're doing. No matter how old you are, thank you is still magical words. All right, so what are some campaign resources? So we have the Speakers Bureau, and the Speakers Bureau is just all the different representatives of all the different local agencies that we have here in Lubbock and surrounding areas, that they are able to come out to any event that you have and speak, regardless of if that is in person or virtual. They have the ability to, and they are willing to do both. Having a speaker is a proven best practice, and it will increase participation. If you would like a speaker, you would contact myself, and I will send everyone out my contact information on in card form. That way you can keep up with that. The next thing is online. There is at the www.secctexas.org. That website is up and running. If you haven't gone on there before, once you log on, you will see that it looks a little bit different, and they're still making some updates and some changes. There's a lot of awesome information on there, a lot of good resources on that website. Next, you can like or go on to Facebook to the South Plains State Employee Charitable Campaign. I have also partnered with our agencies, and they have liked it. So any updates for any of the agencies available here in this area, they will be streaming and going on our Facebook page. So you can always look there for different agencies to come out and speak, or different ideas. The next thing to use is going to be your SECC printed materials. Your printed materials are going to consist of your charity directory, your mini directories, which is the small pamphlet, and then of course your pledge forms, like I said, we have them in hard, and we can send those out digitally. Those are going to be your resources for this year. So in the campaign directory, like I mentioned earlier, all charities that are in this campaign have gone through an application process. Their administration cost has to be, administration and fundraising cost has to be under 25%. So for every dollar, no more than 25 cents can go to fundraising or administration costs. And that is for every charity in there. What you will notice when you go to your campaign directory, you will see a number. The number represents their code. That code is the way that the state of Texas knows what charity you're referring to whenever you put that on your form. And so that code is very important. You will not write the name out of the charity, you will use the code. Next, after that code, you will see a description, a 25-word description of the charity. That is written by the charity. That is not a quick description that I or anyone else comes up with. That is what that charity wants you to know about them. Next, you will see that number. You will see a percentage or a decimal number. Once again, that is their administration cost, and it has to be under 25%, or they are not admitted and are eligible to be a part of the SECC. So you want to keep up with that information and just know in your mini directory, it is all of that information that I just mentioned, except for the 25-word description. That is the only difference between the large campaign directory and the mini campaign directory, the 25-word description. Next, let's talk about giving levels. So within the SECC, there are several different giving and leadership levels. On the state level, you have a Lone Star Circle, which is $10,000 or more. Alamo Circle is $5,000 to $999,000. Next, you have Bluebonnet Circle, which is $2,500 to $4,999. Yellow Rose Circle, which is $1,000 to $2,499. Those are all recognized on the state level. Once you get to locally, we have two groups. We have the Lone Star Gold, and that is for anyone who's paid salary, 1% of their salary a year is donated. Next, if you have hourly employees, that is the Lone Star Red and Black, and that is 1 hour of pay per a month. If you are paid salary, you can do gold. If you're paid by the hour, you can do red and black. And they will know which one they are. They will not, as a coordinator, they will not be asking that information. They will know that information. Participants will receive a Lone Star mug if they give on the gold or the red or black level. So that is great. Also, if you give 1,000 and above, you will automatically qualify for your Lone Star Gold, Red, or Black. This year, and as we have done in the past, we do have mugs. However, one difference is going to be we did not spend a lot of funds on smaller incentives like the small bags or whistles or flashlights or lip balms, pins. We didn't do that this year. I thought it would be a better idea and a better way to say thank you rather than just doing a mug. They will get to, at the end of the campaign, they will get to choose if they want a mug or a tumbler if they are a part of the Lone Star Club. So if they give 1% of their salary or 1 hour of pay per month, they will get to choose if they want a Lone Star mug or tumbler. It is their choice, and they will get to order that. The donors must complete Lone Star Club form, and the form must be submitted to local campaign manager. For those who have online giving, there is a box that you will check that says, I would like my gift. I would like to be recognized. For those who are not, I will contact you. For those who just do paper form, I will be the one entering and looking at that, and I will be the one to contact you to let you know to see which one you're wanting, the mug or the tumbler. Alrighty, so let's look at the pledge form. We did receive new forms this year. It's changed up a little bit more. The biggest change is going to be the order information is entered in, not necessarily the information that's being requested. So first of all, we're going to have our donor information, and that's just you'll enter your campaign area. Other than campaign area, you will not be the one to use control number or any of that. It'll do your first name, your last name. First name, middle work initial, your work phone number. Remember, at the top here, we need your work email address. The reason why we need the work email address is because the state of Texas will not honor or recognize your pledge if it is not attached to your work email. That is the way they check state employee status and know who you are. So please make sure you include your work email address. When forms are turned into you, please make sure they have that on there. For those who give online, you will not be able to give online and sign in if you do not have your work email. So work email is very important. And so please make sure everyone has that. The next thing is your state agency name and number. If you can include that, if you do not know your state agency's number, if you include their name, I will be able to find their number. But please, as much information as you can put in these boxes, please do. Next, we'll need your department county, and then your SECC coordinator's name and the coordinator phone number. You want, as a coordinator, you want to make sure that all of this information is filled out completely when you receive forms. If you receive forms and this information is not filled out completely, please hand it back to the person who gave it to you so we can get that correct and you can go ahead and be done with that process. If that's not double checked, when I get it, I'll send it back to you. So if as much as we can do as we go, it'll be the best. The next from there is it moves to payment options. So they get to choose, am I giving a one-time gift, which is available through cash, check, or am I giving through payroll deduction? If you give through payroll deduction, it's automatic 12 times a year, and you will choose how much you're giving per check. So per payroll, that's the amount you're going to enter in there. From that, you'll multiply that, whatever you're giving per pay period, multiply that by 12, and that will give you your annual amount. I will say this, check the math. It can get kind of interesting sometimes with the math that you'll see down there. So always check the math to verify that it is correct. Something that is new this year, if the individuals would like to give via credit card, that is an option. But however, they will need to we will have to walk through that process. So if you have people who are wanting to give through credit card, please let me know throughout the campaign and we'll get them taken care of. But you can give through credit card. You can also reach out, if you know any, you can reach out to retired state employees and they can also support and give to the SECC. However, if they are retired and they're giving, they will only be able to give one-time gifts. They cannot sign up for any kind of deduction out of any kind of paycheck that they get. It will have to be a one-time gift, and that one-time gift can be done through cash or check, okay? Let's see here. Next, make sure at this point they also have to sign it under signature. If it's not signed, the form is not valid. Next, designation information. Each one of the charities, like I mentioned earlier, have a code. For the South Plains area, that code is 35. So all of the local charities that are within the South Plains area, their number will start with 35. So you have 3 sections here. Only one area can be selected per section. So let's say for the first section, you're going to use area 35. For the next section, let's say the first one you choose is 02. That means the first few numbers of all of these will need to be 02, and so on. You can only give out of 3 different areas. Now, what that means is you are not limited that you have to give to the South Plains area. Of course, we would like for you to, because that is just the community that we live within, but you are not required to. Each charity is statewide, and you are able to give to any state charity that is available within the directory. And you can also do the searches online to find who you would like to give to. You have several different options here, but you want to put the number in first. Next, you're going to choose how much you give to each charity. So you'll fill in the charity or the federation code, which is the first number you'll see in the directory. Next, you'll fill in the amount that you want to give them. And this is per paycheck. This is not overall. This is per paycheck. So you'll choose that. And then you'll add it up and you'll add each column up, okay? Are there any questions in that area for the pledge form? All right, we'll keep it moving. Next, recognition and acknowledgement. And this is what I was talking about earlier when we start looking at the gift, the tumbler, if you want the tumbler or not. If they want their tumbler or their mug, but they do not want to be notified by or recognized by the charity, please check the circle, but do not include any information, mailing or city, or don't include your address or your personal email address. However, if you would like to your gift and you want to be recognized by the charity, what you'll do is you will check the circle, you will include your mailing address or your email address. If you include your mailing address only, you will be notified and thanked through the U.S. mail. If you use your personal email address only, you will receive that notification via email. If you enter in both, you will receive notification via U.S. mail and email. You can use all three. If you check nothing, you will not get a mug, you will not get a tumbler, and you will not be acknowledged at all. It will become an anonymous gift if you do not check anything. Next, so what do we do with this pledge form? These pledge forms are still triplicate forms. So the first form will be a payroll. The payroll will go to the payroll office. Part 2 will be kept with the form with any cash or checks. You will receive that as the coordinator. Part 3 will stay with the employee for his or her records. Okay. For those who are asking for the PDF form, what you'll do is you will need 3 copies of that PDF form. That first one will go to the, and this is payroll deduction. The first form, of course, will still go to the payroll office. The second form you will print and keep and bring that to me whenever you turn in the money. And the third one is for the employee and his records. One cool thing we're doing this year, because we are virtual and getting those forms back in hand may be a little hard, we are allowing employees to email you back their filled out PDF form. With that being said, if that email has to come from their work email, if it does not come from their work email address, it cannot be accepted. It has to come, the form has to be emailed through the work email address, okay? Let's say you have an employee who says, I want to keep my deduction, everything the same as last year. What you can do is you can take that information. If they fill all of that out, or if HR is okay with it, you can contact them and they will be able to keep it the same as the year before. You have some options in that. Let's talk internally, speak with HR and see what your options are, see how we can handle it. But we can kind of make this process a little bit easier. And one of the biggest ways to do that is with the transfer, or shifting those forms from having to be paper in hand to where they can email them to you, as long as they're signed and done through a work email. Once again, let's say you have an employee that says, I want to do it, but they don't send you their form and email form. You cannot, they have not done anything and their pledge will not be recognized, okay? So please make sure we follow all of those protocols. They are trying to be a little bit more lenient to help us get through the virtual changes. Next, let's see here. Campaign reporting. Like I said, please return all second parts of the pledge form to myself, along with any cash or checks. Just as a rule of thumb, I would probably do it weekly, just because I wouldn't want to be responsible for those funds being on hand. Now, that does not mean you have to come down to United Way weekly. If you call me and say, hey, and it doesn't have to be several, it can be any amount. We have some forms and cash I would like to get to you. Is it possible for you to come by? I am willing to come by your office and pick it up. I am willing to meet you somewhere to pick it up. I understand everyone is doing the best that they can, and I want to make sure that we're accommodating everyone and their needs. So we can do that. We can kind of make some changes for that. You will receive in your email, you will receive a campaign pledge report form. And that is just a simple form. It's just saying, this is the number of forms I am sending you. Here is the amount of money these forms add up to. And you just sign off on the date, or if it was a certain fundraiser that you did, you'll list the type of fundraiser. It's just a way for you to tell me what you're turning in. That way, whenever you turn it in, I will check it off and say, yes, everything that is on the form is what I've received. And then that's a check and balance system for both of us. And you will get a copy of that signed from me saying that I received those funds from you. So you will no longer be responsible for them. For as far as TDCJ, please make sure you follow the protocol that has been set within TDCJ. Stephanie Peterson and Lydia Poole are a couple contacts if you are within TDCJ, and they will be able to help you with all of that. All TDCJ forms are not, none of them are sent here. They're all sent to Huntsville. Huntsville will send them to me. I will, however, still be calling you every other week just to check on you, see how things are going. You can call and contact me at any time if you need speakers or whatever you need. Just know that I'm here. But as far as returning those forms, TDCJ, they do not come to me. They will go to Stephanie in Huntsville, okay? Important dates, which is what I was mentioning earlier. In September, of course, tomorrow the SECC begins. You will check in on Friday, September 11th. Is report date number 1. All that report date means is if you can send me a quick email saying, hey, Alpha, this is where we are. This is the amount total we've raised. This amount in fundraiser. This amount in individual pledges. That's all that report is. At that time, you can let me know if you need more forms, if there's anything else you're needing, whatever you're needing, please let me know. Emails are amazing and I can get to them rather quickly. So just email me and let me know what you're needing and where we are. We will do a check-in on September 11th, Friday, September 25th, October 9th, and October 23rd. Each one of those are Fridays. On Thursday, October 31st, that is the last date. You will report on that day. I'll call in to say, hey, how are things going? Do you have any final numbers? You'll let me know where you are at that time. And then in November, here's your big days for November. November 6th, your final report is due. That is also the day that all payroll forms are due to the state payroll offices for those who are not on the online system. Okay. Alrighty. Last but not least, I definitely want to make sure that I tell you all thank you. Like I said earlier, you all have been essential through this whole process, and your job is only getting harder. And so I understand that, and I definitely want to say thank you for all you do. Thank you for taking time out of your morning this morning to participate in training. So if that is all that I have, do we have any questions? Okay, if you don't have access to a mic, you are more than welcome to type your questions in the chat box. Alrighty, it appears that there are no questions. I will be sending out a recording of this training and the slideshow presentation immediately following this. And I look forward to a great year. And I know we're going to do awesome things. Thank you so much for participating today. Recording is on.